Hi guys. It took me a little bit to make this video. Obviously I didn't do it right after the fight. And I'm just getting to do it now. But as you guys know, I was going for Triple G. I mean, it's not like he's my favorite boxer of all time or um anything like that. I mean, yeah, Canelo's a better boxer, technically speaking, but Triple G is, in my opinion, the bigger talent. But obviously he's getting older. But I was going for Triple G, based on principle, based on supporting a sport, and then you get confronted with this, and this is the reality, guys. It's a sickening reality. Boxing is the most violent sport. I think, besides, boxing, MMA, the fighting sports are the sports where these athletes leave their lives. They don't leave that, you know, um ring or that octagon the same way they walked in. They're entertaining you by giving you literally a piece of their lives. And that's why it's so important for us to keep it as a sport. But the reality is different. Even though that is the sport where you give the most, um that no longer can be called a sport. At least boxing can no longer be called a sport because it's a business. And what it all boils down to, Triple G got robbed the first time, hugely robbed. And then he gets robbed a second time, even though I had him, I gave Canelo an extra 2 rounds, than the first fight, which, I had him losing 4 rounds. This time, Triple G won by 2 rounds. But yeah, you're confronted with the reality that you're not watching a sport, you're watching a business, and what makes dollars makes sense. And what makes sense is that Canelo is younger. He's more, he's Mexican. So, you know, everybody knows, 90% of the population, that like the #1 sport in Mexico and pretty much around the world is, boxing. So if you're Mexican, you're winning half the battle. So he's Mexican, he's younger, he's cuter, he's more promotable. He is, you know what I mean? Golovkin is at the end of his career. So all of these things put together, it doesn't matter what you do in the ring. That's what's gonna determine the outcome of these fights. At the end of the day, especially these type of fights, these important fights, So yeah, I mean, as long as you go in knowing that, that this is not really a sport, there's no rules that say this is exactly why they won. Like, he didn't hit the 2-pointer in basketball, or he didn't he didn't catch the ball in football. And I mean, the bottom line is this is money related. And just a cautionary tale for any type of fighter trying to go into boxing. I mean, the best bet at this point, I would say, is MMA. Because yeah, I mean, you don't see it as, I mean, you have seen it in MMA as well, but you don't see it as drastically as what we just saw these 2 times. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you do PDs, it doesn't matter what you're on, you know what I mean? If you are the one that's gonna bring in the money and you make the most business sense, you're gonna win. And obviously, De La Hoya has great connections. He's the promoter. This is the second coming of Don King all over again. And I never thought that I would say that, because I always thought, as soon as I heard that Oscar was going into the promoting, I was like, oh my God, that's great. There's not going to be like, the dubious affairs that, Don King used to have. But no, same thing, guys. Same thing. This is not a sport. Just as long as when you're watching, you realize that you're not, it's not about you. It's not about It's about entertaining you, but it's about just, you know, making money. And it's sad. It's sad. If you're an athlete, think about it. This is the sickening reality. You know, it's not going to be based on what you do. It's not going to be based on, you know, how hard you work. You know, it really doesn't matter. I mean, even when all of these things were going on last year, you know, when we indicted Canelo for the drug use, when we indicted, you know, Adelaide for, you know, the discrepancy in her scores, it still didn't matter. They did it again. And it's just sad. It's a sickening reality. And yeah, I'm done with boxing. I'm done. I'm done because it doesn't really, like, it doesn't matter what you think, what you feel, what really happens in the ring. It doesn't matter. So it's not a sport. You know what I mean? It's not a sport anymore. So, you know, I'm just, you know, and I see all of these talk shows and everybody's talking like, oh no, because, you know, Canelo, everybody's trying to, you know, like, make this okay, which is really, really, really sickening to watch. Well, you know, Canelo make the most, you know, adjustments. So, you know, I have no problem with the... Nobody has a problem. Like, you may die in that ring and nobody will have a problem with the score. They're going to blame it on you. Well, you know what he was getting himself into. So, you know, too bad he died. You know, it is what it is. You know, he didn't stop it in time. This is sickening. So, just, you know, this is just really, really sad. You know, I'm just so glad that, you know, Floyd beat Canelo. And you know what, Canelo, you know, I'm Spanish, so I used to love Canelo. But this whole situation is just, you know, made me a little bitter towards him. Even though, I mean, if I was him, I mean, I would probably do the same thing. Think about it. I mean, you want to win, you want to keep making money. So it's like you can't really completely blame him, you know? But it's just really, really sad. And to everybody, you know, putting out videos saying, oh, you know, I'm okay with it because da-da-da. You're just giving excuses to the freaking corruption. You're just allowing the corruption to continue. So good luck with that. Good luck with boxing. I'll stick with my MMA. October 6th, my birthday, is Khabib and, you know, Conor. And yeah, I'm just going to stick with MMA and, you know, screw boxing, you know. And I hope that the sad part is that, you know, this is the only way, because nobody wanted to get in the ring with Triple G because obviously, you know, of his previous, you know, crazy power. The sad part is that this is what makes the most money for Triple G. Losing these fights is what, you know, is going to make him, you know, a millionaire in essence. You know what I mean? Because before he wasn't making that much money because he's not a draw. He doesn't speak the language. He's not Mexican. And, you know, nobody wanted to get in the ring with him because everybody was scared. So the sad part is that this makes the most money for Triple G. So having a perfect record or making, you know, $20-50 million, you know, he sold his soul. And I'm not quite sure I wouldn't have done the same. Think about it. Everybody was already saying that even if he stays perfect, it's really, he's not going to go down as one of the greats because of the fact that nobody wanted to get in the ring with him. So he never had that high level fight. You know what I mean? I mean, you could think of one Perry Jacobs, and, you know, like, he never had, you know, Canelo was his boom. And even though he won both fights, you know, he'll sell his soul for a third one just to, you know, get more money and retire comfortably. And I can't say I blame him, but he's still undefeated in my eyes. And it's just really, really sad. And it's sad to, like, realize that, like, a sport that I enjoy so much is not really a sport, you know? But whatever. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. You know, it took me, yeah, it hit me hard. So I had to wait a little while before I could make the video. And Yeah. Sorry, Triple G. They did this to you. But I'm happy that you'll be able to like feed your family and you'll be able to retire with a lot of money, you know. At least that's what Canelo did leave him. And the controversy, because not only is he going to retire with a lot of money, but everybody's always going to remember that he got robbed. Because even though everybody's finding a way out to explain this, everybody knows. Everybody knows he got robbed. So, I guess, you know, makes sense. Makes dollar make sense, right? Whatever. Anyways. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Thanks so much for watching. And, yeah, get ready for Conor and Khabib. Bye, guys.